Now that we are well into spring, I noticed there are a lot of crops that are growing pretty quickly. So I need to go outside and harvest a few things like peppers and herbs, lettuce, and I wanted to bring you along with me to show you what we're harvesting in our Florida spring container garden. Here's one side of the container garden and the other side is behind the RV. Now those bottles that you see back here, these are just a temporary quick watering solution. I'm not allowed to set up drip irrigation where we are currently staying for the moment. So I had to come up with a slow drip irrigation solution, and I will link a video on how I did that if you're interested in this quick solution for some of your container plants. We have a mini bell pepper plant here, and I noticed we have some volunteer tomato plants. I'm assuming these are Everglades tomatoes, but I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if I'll keep these, but we'll see. I have plenty of plants here and not much space to add anymore. Since these plants are pretty small, I have just a pair of kitchen shears, but I do have a pruner for those thicker plants. I just don't need that today. I'm going to come in here and clip the pepper just like that. These peppers can be harvested at any point. I just like for them to go red because they have a sweeter flavor, but they can be harvested when they are green as well. This one down here is fairly new, and then we still have some flowers that are forming that will eventually turn into peppers. Oh, I have one down here that's hiding from me. Hey! These are some yellow pear tomatoes that are definitely not ready yet. They have not ripened, but they are forming beautifully. This over here is an ají dulce pepper plant. I have a few of these, but this is the only one that has actually given peppers at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. This is also a very sweet pepper, commonly used in the Caribbean. It does look spicy, but it's not, it's sweet. Here are my ground cherry plants. I have a few of them. Now, the ground cherries, they look like little lanterns. Let me see if I can zoom in on some. It's almost similar to a tomatillo, where once it's ripe, the husk on the outside gets papery, and then the fruit on the inside is what you eat. Now, you'll know that it is ready to harvest when the husk starts to dry out, like this one back here, and then it just falls off of the plant, or when you touch it, it just releases, like what just happened with me right now. So what I'm going to do is grab this ground cherry that fell so that I can do a little taste test with you on video. Oh, looks like another one fell to the ground and opened up on its own. I'm probably not gonna eat this one because I'm not sure if it opened up on its own or if a little critter tried to get to it before I did, but it's got a little mark here that I'm not too crazy about, so I'll just leave it to decompose back in the soil, and I will grab the one that fell. I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. All right, back here we have a cayenne pepper plant. It's a very small plant, but giving a lot of peppers. So I'm going to do the same thing, just snap it right here at the top so that I don't damage the plant if I try pulling these off. I have one echinacea flower that I kind of let go a little too long, so I'm going to just leave it. Otherwise I would have harvested this one as well. We have some red lettuce that I started harvesting a couple of days ago. If you see here, I kind of just chopped it close to the base. Now with this type of lettuce, loose leaf, you'll want to just leave at least 1 to 2 inches from the base so that it can continue growing. But you can also harvest, you can look at a bunch, like for instance, this right here is a bunch, and then harvest the outer leaves and leave the inner leaves alone. Either way, I've noticed that they grow back very well. You can harvest some dandelion leaves as well. This is really good for medicinal purposes or in salads. You can dry them and add them to teas. And I'm just cutting a little bunch here. Maybe make a little tea later on. I'll leave most of them on the plant. I have a lot of dry dandelion leaves already at home, but I would like to use them fresh in a salad if possible. Now, since I was harvesting from the other red lettuce, I'll go ahead and start harvesting from this one here. And like I said, you can do outer leaves or you can do it by the bunch. And for demonstration purposes, I'll just start doing outer leaves since I'm working with one hand today. I like to harvest as I go. I don't like to do a big harvest at one time unless I'm preserving. Now with lettuce, it's kind of hard to preserve, so you would like to just harvest it when you're ready to eat it fresh. And in today's case, I will be making a little salad, so I'm just harvesting a few for our salad later on. Got some lettuce, some dandelion leaves that I will throw into the salad. Maybe even cut up some sweet peppers. I have a larger variety of tomato here. I'm not exactly sure what these tomatoes are. These were gifted to me by a neighbor, and they are not ready to be harvested. And then I have these two little guys that are growing side by side, which is not really recommended. It's recommended to just do one plant per container. However, these were volunteer tomatoes that I just left to do their own thing, and because they are a smaller tomato variety, I thought that it would be okay. These are Everglades tomatoes, and you can see them already fruiting down there. It's very small fruit and nice and sweet, but these are not ready yet, so I'll leave it just like that. This is my rosemary, doing really nice, but I won't be harvesting anything from this one. I like to harvest as I go with the herbs, unless I do a big harvest and then I dry them, but I have a lot of dried rosemary inside already, so I won't be needing any of these yet. Pretty soon I will be showing you how to harvest these. These are shallots that I planted in December, and we are in April, close to the end of April. It seems like it is almost ready to be harvested. They are nice, decent size, especially for shallots. So I will be removing these from the soil very soon. And these here. I have a gorgeous calendula flower that is ready to be harvested. I like to also use this in teas and for medicinal purposes. When you dry the leaves, they dry just like that. They don't lose their color. It is very beautiful. You can add them to soaps or any other crafts that you may wish to do. I just snapped it off right underneath. It looks like there are some little bugs hanging out, so I'll definitely soak this before I dry it or use it fresh in a tea. I will also be using some of these sweet potato leaves for my salad. So I will just clip some of these leaves off and add them to my bowl. I'm not planning on doing a big harvest when it comes to leaves because the one who's consuming this salad later is just me. My husband doesn't do greens, unfortunately. This will be my third blueberry harvest of the season, and I noticed some of them have already gone too far. So I will just remove the ones that are dry and just add them back on top of the soil so they can start decomposing there. And then I will gently remove the ones that are ready, which if it's all blue, it's ready. If you see any purple or green underneath, it still needs more time. And even when they are all blue, you'll want to leave them on the plant a little longer, a few more days before you harvest, because the longer you leave them, the sweeter they get. And while we're doing leaves, I'm going to grab some leaves from this raspberry cane, or these multiple canes. Now, raspberry leaf tea is delicious, and I would normally do a bunch at a time and then dry them, but I prefer when I'm doing teas to just come out and grab what I need for that day and use it right away, because when the leaves are fresh, it's a little more potent and the nutritional compounds are still at their peak. I also find that it tastes a lot better when it's fresh. And here's our little garden harvest. These peppers and the leaves will go into a salad. The cayenne peppers will be preserved by freezing them until I am ready to make another batch of hot sauce. The raspberry leaves will be consumed along with the calendula in a tea. The blueberries will just be used to snack on, and these ground cherries, I will be taste testing them with you. Okay, we have our ground cherries here, and I'm going to remove the paper husk on the outside just by kind of squeezing it out. Now, I did notice when I was researching, some are more on the yellow side, some are a little orange, and some of the ground cherries that are on the plant outside have more of an orange hue. Hopefully this is ripe enough. It did kind of just fall right off. Also, the husk on the outside is papery, so we'll go ahead and try it. Okay, it has a pineapple flavor without the acidity or tartness of an actual pineapple. It's really fruity. It is pretty sweet, and I can tell that if I would have left it a little longer to just let it fall off on its own, it probably would have been a little sweeter. I'm pretty sure the ones that have more of an orange hue are sweeter than this one, so I can definitely say that I do like them. They're fruity. I love the flavor. It has a very tropical flavor. It has like a slight crunch, maybe because of the seeds that are in there, but not crunchy. I'm not really sure how to explain that. It just kind of pops in your mouth and it tastes really good. So definitely a win. I really like the flavor on this one.